Welcome to Briggins TV. I'm Matt Higgins, coming to you live from Geelong. Ironically, AFL starting this week. We have just interviewed the CEO of Geelong Footy Club, very well known within the AFL ranks with over 20 years experience, Brian Cook. Guys, this is an amazing interview. How he starts today, talking about culture, how he deals with crisis, who his mentors are, and what he says to his staff to help them grow through the organisation at Geelong Footy Club. Enjoy.
Yeah, I'm Brian Cook. I'm the Chief Executive of the Geelong Football Club. Well, I'm up, I live in Torquay, which is a beautiful place near the Great Ocean Road, and I'm up before sunrise each morning, when I'm at home that is, and I will go for a swim in the ocean most mornings, and that's usually first light, which is about 20 minutes before sunrise. So I actually watch the sunrise come up pretty much every morning in the water, which is for me exhilarating, and it's a great start to the day. Well, you know, you start the day swimming, and then I've got work, and that would probably, I mean, today there's 10 meetings, and so my life is full of meetings. I can be really honest about this. You have to become really proficient in meetings. Make sure they're not 3-hour meetings, they're 30-minute meetings, 45-minute meetings. You achieve a lot of outcome, you have action items. So that's my day, and it's in all sorts of areas, from infrastructure, marketing, football, HR, communication, social media, all sorts of areas. Having said that, I've got general managers in each area and I work through them. At night, 3 or 4 nights of the 7 I will be out at night doing some sort of work. It might be committee work, it might be community partnership work, it might be a list management issue with the football, meeting parents. So there's all sorts of issues around that. And then I will get home and I want to turn off. And so my partner Claire probably suffers my my attitude here, where I don't probably like talking about work that much. But I will probably get to sleep around 10 or 11 most nights, and be up about 6. I watch a bit of telly. I'm a bit of a norm, I think, in that respect. The alternative is to keep reading reports or answering more emails. I am determined to get through every email I've received in 24 hours. It's a sort of a self-regulatory thing I have. So sometimes I do go on the computer and finish off, but more often than not I tend to do that before I get home. And with emails, I have a bit of a system going that you either do, you delegate, you dump, or you delay. One of those 4 things. But if I delay, I make sure I get to it within a week. Oh, look, I think having an effect on something, having an impact, a meaningful impact, is really important. So if I wasn't doing that here at the football ground in any particular year, I'd be a bit worried. Or if I'm not making a difference in the community, or if I'm not making a difference with my family. So for me, it's having a meaningful impact, continuing to keep learning, and I don't think you keep learning, you know. You know, in doing all that, being a real team person, because you know you can't do important things on your own. Generally, it needs help. You know, you need support. You need people to help you. This ground was built by many people. Whilst you know a lot of people say, look, you know, it's because of Brian Cook. That's not the case. It's because of a lot of teams that were involved. So you need to be, in my opinion, certainly in our industry and in our game, if you're not team driven, you're in trouble. No, look, I think I've always been someone who's been determined to have a business plan. We've always had a business plan, an ongoing business plan for the organisation that I've been involved in. Having said that, there are times in that time frame, and for Geelong it's over 20 years, but there are times where you really question yourself, you doubt yourself. And I've had those occasions, and when I've had those occasions, I've actually needed some really good support from significant others. It's very difficult to go through all of life just being so confident that everything's going to be rosy, because it isn't. You know, you do hit bumpy patches, and sometimes they're really bumpy. I remember once when we got smashed at Carlton football ground by nearly 100 points. I actually said, you know, to my boss, look, this value-based stuff that we work here and try and centre our whole life on is just not working. We need more talent. And that's when Frank Costa said to me, look, just hang in there. I know this works. We've got to go character first, talent second all the time. And over time, this will work. It's worked in my business, trust me. Now, if I didn't have that backing and that reinforcement and support, I don't think I would have necessarily seen out my time here. So I think in tough times, we have to be willing to ask for help, and we're not good at that. A lot of CEOs don't ask for help, they're not good at it. But you've got to become good at asking for help. You just have to let down your guard and let people know that you have some weaknesses, and be quite open and humble about it. And I think that's when it works for you the best. I think it'd be a combination of things, but I think the most important thing is for them to feel an integral and required part of the team. More than anything else, I think they just want to play their part. There's no doubt money plays a role, status plays a role, but it has to be, I think, overseen by this I want to make a difference in the world type thing. I truly believe that the people we employ are, first of all, good people, and have potential to be, mostly have good potential to be good leaders. Funny thing about that, you know, I'll go off the topic here a minute, is that I meet people all the time who want to be leaders of the organisation. They want to be the CEO, or whatever the case may be. I ask them why, and normally it's about themselves and what they can do. And I'm you know, and it never sort of hits them until they get a bit older, I think, that they're actually there for other people, not for themselves. If you're a leader, you're there because you want to manage other people, you want to lead other people, you want to get other people to follow you. And so the tip I give to people who are young and want to be a leader is, before you can be a good leader, you've got to be a good person. Otherwise they won't follow you. Work on your values first, work on your character, work on the way you lead, work on the way you team, work on the way that you innovate, whatever the case may be that's required. And become a good person. Be kind, be caring, give people time. And be genuine about it, and then you will be a leader. It doesn't happen the other way around. Yeah, there's no one trick to this. It's a whole myriad of things. But having said that, I'm going to say the opposite, in that if you want to determine the culture of an organisation quickly, look at the types of people that they are rewarding and promoting, and look at their character and their personality type, and what are the things they're getting promoted and rewarded for, and that will in turn determine the culture of the organisation. So in simple, culture can be a whole abstract and lengthy and deep concept, but in simple form it is what you reward in the organisation. So if you're rewarding bottom line and you're not rewarding good relationships, if you're rewarding you know, good strategy, it doesn't matter what you're rewarding in some respects, but whatever you are rewarding will determine the culture of the organisation. And there's no one culture that's the only culture that's successful. You can get various cultures that are successful. It depends on the mission of the organisation, its KPIs, its vision, its key strategies, and putting all that together. But for me, culture comes down to what the leaders and what your colleagues are rewarding within the organisation. It will help determine whether you'll survive or not eventually. Yeah. When you get stressed, when I get stressed, I will want to make a decision quickly, and I've learnt to back off and not say a lot, and certainly not decide on a lot. I think we get into this state of anxiety when we sometimes feel as though we're forced to make a decision, and we do, when in fact I think we should say, do I actually need to make a decision here? Can I actually not and just hold back for a while and talk to a few people? So leadership is not necessarily about reacting. It's sometimes about acting. Going back, then talking to people, then making a decision. So I think the most important thing about stress from my point of view, this is a personal opinion and a personal perception, is I need to be reluctant about making decisions, particularly important ones, when I'm stressed, because quite often they're wrong. I would say first of all, don't overrate talent. Don't try and be someone else. Learn from everyone else, but don't imitate anyone. Be yourself, be genuine, be authentic. That would be my second thing. I would say the sooner you can get outside of your own head and into others' heads, the better. Because it's not about you, eventually it's about them and how you look after them, whether it's your family or whether it's your work colleagues or whatever the case may be. I think that's really important. So there'd be the 3 or 4 things. There's probably 20 things I could think of, but there'd be the 3 things I'd come up with quickly.